Hey guys, Obelisk here, and I'm back with another video for my DAoC class overview little series I got going on here. Sorry if my voice is, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit maybe, I don't know. Voice is kind of scratchy now. This is like the third or fourth hour I've spent talking about DAoC in these little video series. I've been knocking them out kind of in a row here. But this is about the Mauler class, and you may or may not notice I have another Mauler video already out there that is for the aura / staff spec. The caster Mauler is what people are kind of looking at it as. This video is going to be about a Fistwrap Mauler, and yeah, completely different play styles, some overlapping abilities, but I'm just going to do a new video on it. That one got a little long, so I don't want to make many like 30-minute plus videos. I got a few out there, but we'll see if we can get this one done quicker. Let's go ahead and get in game here. I'm on my mid Mauler. He is, just before we get into it, I'll go ahead and show you the spec I am currently. I am 50 Magnetism, 50 Fistwraps, 12 Aura, and 8 Power Strikes. It doesn't really matter. The big things are Fistwraps and Mag here. Those are the important deals. This spec is mostly for grouping, I think. I'd consider going the spec in a duo maybe, but probably not this exact spec in like a duo or solo. But I think this is a really good group spec. There's some small changes I'd make, and I'll explain why for solos later. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get into what makes a Fistwrap Mauler a Fistwrap Mauler. It's Fistwraps, okay? So I'll go ahead and go to the main thing that they get. That is the, if I can remember what's called, just gonna look at what I have. Owl Strike and Phoenix Strike chain, okay? So your Owl Strike is your anytime taunt style. It's a medium damage, low endurance cost style. Just what it is. No special effects or anything other than it's a taunt, I guess. So kind of what this does is, it just hits people. So that combos with a style called Phoenix Strike. Now this is where Fistwrap Mauler start to get scary. So this is a big DD proc style. So we have, if I can hit it, Owl Strike, and then we have Phoenix Strike. So hitting my shaman, who doesn't have, he has 20 mana resist, and this is magic damage. Hit him for 355 base. I can augment that damage. I'll show you that later. So that's going to hit a lot harder as we go. But yeah, so my melee hit hard, 250 with a 122 crit. Crit doesn't really matter, but the base damage is high. The dual wield part of it was 176, and then the base DD was 355. So altogether, minus a crit, any sort of additives, that's what, 250 plus 175, so that's 420-ish, and then 350, so that's 770 or so, right? That's a pretty crazy style chain. And then the first style did 245 base, and that can dual wield, so that's a lot of damage coming out. Anyway, we'll move on. I'll talk more about it later, I suppose. The kind of the second most important style is this Haymaker style. It's a side style, high damage, 5-second stun, anytime stun. Really good. Just all it is. It's like BM side stun, Zerker side stun, whatever. Just a big ol' 5-second, it's a 5-second stun. Then what's interesting is we have this back snare. Now this back snare used to be really good, but I think they nerfed it. The back snare used to not be affected by CC immunity. So if your target was re-immune, you could still snare it. However, I think that's a bit different now. I don't think that's a thing anymore. Unfortunately, I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, so that's kind of it for group play, at least. And I wouldn't necessarily go spec solo. I guess you can. I think the Mauler spec that's really good solo has a lot of has some power strikes and maybe some aura. I don't know what, I haven't looked at the solo spec, but you can go the spec solo, I guess. You also get a 5-second evade stun, which is still good for groups. Say some dude tries to come up and peel you and you throw an evade on him, you just turn around and smack him with this evade stun. It's good. That'll be awesome solo, obviously. Now the follow-up style to this side stun is just okay. It has 2 of them. Gut shot, which has like a little mini DD on it, and then cross, which is this is actually kind of interesting. It's a PBAoE snare. So if you if you have, like, say you're peeling for someone, they have 2 tanks on him, and you side stun them, hit him with this cross, it's going to snare him and his buddy, because it's a PBAoE snare. It's kind of cool. So I consider using that. But if you're going for damage, just hit him with a haymaker and then hit him with that anytime chain, dude. That's a huge damage. Heartstopper, it's a frontal style that gives you some power. Kind of not really that impressive. There's probably some solo styles that you might want to use. Probably, maybe not actually. Yeah, these are kind of there's an after the evade style, you have a attack speed debuff, so use that if you're soloing. That's pretty much it for Fistwraps. Mainly the big thing is just the big anytime chain, and I'm lagging out now so I can't show it. Hopefully I don't LD. There we go, perfect. So yeah, this chain right here is just insanely strong. Like, I guess my Matter weapon procced. Had to, because I hit him for 1 billion. Yeah, it procced earlier and I missed, I guess. But yeah, if you get a Matter debuff, like, look how much damage that is. That's 310 main hand, low crit, 230 offhand, and 438. Of course, like I said, my Shaman only has 20% resist. Let's turn on his let's put resist up for him, so I have a decent amount more. Okay, now my Shaman has 44% resist. We're just gonna test the style because I'm curious. This is with no Matter debuff, I think. Okay, it resisted. I mean, 289 against 40% resist, and that's before something I'm going to use to augment it in a second. It's still pretty dang good. Now let's go into the other part that makes the Fistwrap Mauler super strong, and that's Magnetism. Okay, and the thing that makes it super strong is this little buff right here. It's called Gift of Precision. What it does is it increases your weapon skill by 20%. So let's hit him again with that style. The proc has no variance. It's going to hit for 289 unless something changes to my weapon skill or their resist. So 289 is what that proc hits for, I should say. I just threw up my my weapon skill buff. It went from 289 to 342. That's with the weapon skill buff, but no Matter debuff against a target with 40% Matter debuff, or sorry, Matter resist. That's a lot of damage. And look how much my weapon hit for: 331, and then 141. That's with my offhand weapon is actually a Matter weapon, and I'll get to the weapon selection later. But this is a lot of damage for a non-debuff hit. That's, doing math and stuff. 700 here, or close to 700. So it's about 800 damage against a 40% Matter debuff, or sorry, 40% Matter resist target. Strong. So that's what you want to keep your weapon skill buff up all the time. That thing just makes you hit like a truck. The next thing we get is this Matter debuff. It's a cone Matter debuff, 15%. Not huge, but we'll use it. Okay, so he's got it on it. So that takes my damage up from, it's insane, 342 to 435. Sorry, that was 44% Matter resist is what my Shaman had, not 40, like I said. So 44%. That takes it from 44% to 26%. So obviously a little bit more than 15, but so that's a pretty big debuff, pretty strong. Especially when you combine that with maybe using Matter Leggy weapons, so you get a debuff up all the time pretty much, and then your weapon skill buff, you're swinging pretty hard. Now, I said this in the other Mauler video. I think one of the best spells in the game is this little Tegashir's Arbitration or whatever it's called in whatever spec line, or sorry, whatever level spec you have it. It's a 28% damage blocking. It blocks 28% of the damage and returns that damage, that block, to you as power. So if we look, I'm hitting, I'm not going to put my weapon skill buffs or any resist. We're just going to go back to how much this proc hits for. 289. So that proc hits for 289 base with no buffs or anything. Now I'm going to use this buff on the Shaman, and I'm going to show you how small that proc gets. Oh, sorry, my matter is this procced. I'm going to purge that. All right, so this is with no resist debuff or anything. So it went from 289 right here, if you see. The proc went from that to 187. And that doesn't block just magic, it blocks my melee too. It takes 28% away. That's insane. And it's a, just to go over some of the specs of the ability, it's a 30-second duration ability, plus duration you have in your template. Only a 15-second recast timer. So if you cycle these all the time, you can have it on 2 people all the time. Super strong. Literally a 28% shield that gives you power. Let's put it back on. Watch my power go up. Like when I have this big hit here, the power just spiked up. So this is how Maulers can really keep power, even if they're not getting hit, is throwing this buff on their friends. Spoiler alert, your rank 5 does this for the whole group for a minute. It's super strong, man. This thing is insane for mitigation. Like you throw this on, what I do, and I'll tell you about a little bit more about this later, you just throw it on whoever's getting damaged or whoever you think is going to get damaged, and it's a lifesaver. So we'll go down the list a little bit more. So we have this endless burden thing right here. And this is a focus snare. Now what it does is it slows your target by 90%. 700 range, so it's pretty far range. It gives root immunity, so you gotta be careful. What I like to use this for is if I'm on a target, it's like say I'm on a caster, I'm trying to kill it, and there's a friar maybe 500 units away, just healing him away. While I'm still attacking the dude, I'll target him really quick, start casting this ability, because you can cast it in combat. Get back on the guy I'm attacking, keep attacking him, snare the friar, and since this thing's a pulsing focus, it's going to snare him every tick. So as long as that guy stays within 700 range, and I'm looking at him, he gets snared. Keep in mind, this is a 90% snare, so he's not far off from being rooted. Now I'm going to show you. Let's see, let's just spam some heals on my bot. See me casting it. See, boom. Now I'm still trying to heal. And look, still erupted, right? That's, well, you get a heal off every now and then. And so I'm just like meleeing the little dude I'm attacking. Home dog can't heal. And let's have him run. Look how slow he is. He's not getting out of that. That is insane. And now I think if I face away, I think it might break the focus. Actually, I guess not. No, it keeps pulsing even if I'm not facing him. So just as long as he's in 700 radius, you got him. He's your little bitch. Sorry for my language if any kids are watching, but yeah, this is pretty strong. So you just sit there and beat on his friend, or you use this to rep someone else, or you can use this just to get to someone if you want. But keep in mind, it gives root immunity when I break it, and you can turn it off by just clicking it again or having them run far away. Even if they're snare immune, you can still throw this on someone. So if someone's getting bodyguarded and you need to erupt them, just throw this on them. It erupts their bodyguard. Really good ability. Okay, moving on. You have this overwhelming burden. It's an instant root. PBOE, really good. Long duration. What's the duration on it? 1 minute 10. This is why, one of the main reasons why I go high mag. Instead of stopping at 45, I go 50. Is for these high level roots. They last forever. The really cool thing about this root, it's a 5-minute reuse PBOE root. It's a long reuse, longish. Use it once a fight. The crazy thing about this is it does not give root immunity. If the target is root immune, it doesn't work. Keep that in mind. So if I'm using it on my shaman now who has root immunity, it does not work. However, if I use this on someone that doesn't have root immunity, and once it goes away, they can be rooted again. So for example, keep in mind this thing, this little instant snare I showed you earlier, the pulsing one, the focus one, it does not work if they have root immunity. So I'll root this dude, okay? So we got him rooted. So he's running along just like a normal root, right? If I hit him, it breaks. So Now it's broken. So now, if that was a normal route, besides the Mauler route, I wouldn't be able to use this spell on him and have it actually do anything. But now you can see it's obviously still working, even though he has immunity. Now I'll break this, give him root immunity with this spell, just so I can kind of show you. Wait for this spell to come back up. Actually, it's still pulsing on him, so I'll cancel and recast it just so you can visually see it. So we're casting on him, and since he's root immune, it doesn't work. Keep in mind, I just used that PBAB root, didn't give root immunity. Super strong, super duper strong. So next we have our other root. Now this one's really interesting. Unyielding armor. What this does is a cone root that, even if they're root immune, keep in mind my shaman's root immune right now. Let's just have him on a run. Let's cast it. Still works through root immunity. Great. Now the really crazy part about this is unbreakable, right? So I can just sit here and beat on this guy literally for, how long does this last? 1 minute and 22 seconds plus duration. Unbreakable. I'm just hitting him. Who cares? How cool is that? That's insane. He's literally just sat here. Nothing he could do. Literally nothing he could do. All he can do is purge or get derooted by something. That's all he can do. See, now he's starting to come out of it. And the great thing about this, it doesn't give root immunity. So Maulers, if you're this spec, or if you're the other spec, but I'm just going to ignore that. If you're this spec, I can root someone out 2 times without giving them root immunity. And then my shaman, healer, rune master, SM, whatever, can root someone again. So if you combo up a shaman with a Mauler, the Mauler goes in first, roots him with his PBA root or unbreakable, doesn't matter. Comes back after he's out of that one, or if he purges, roots him with the other one. So if I start with the PBA root, I go back after he purges or comes out of it, or it gets broken, and I hit him with the unbreakable root, then he's stuck again unless he has another like purge or something, or he has to purge that. It can't get broken. And then the shaman could do a normal root because none of those give root immunity. And once he comes out of that, or if he purges that, the shaman can Ichor of the deep him, reset his root immunity, and then he could reroot. So with a shaman and a Mauler, you can root some out 4 times without giving them, by resetting immunities and not giving them immunities. So without having to wait for immunity at all, you can root someone 4 times with the shaman and Mauler. Super strong, especially if you're pulling. It's insane. So let's move on to the next one. You have this little pulsing snare. It's pretty good. It's whatever. It's it doesn't give immunity. It's breakable by damage, but it pulses, so it's up all the time. It costs some power, but it's pretty good. It's good for if you got someone running at you to peel you, just throw it on and kite them away. Or if you're trying to stick to someone, it's good. It doesn't rupt, but at least I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure. Let's keep healing. Yeah, it doesn't rupt, but still a good little spell. Sorry, I gotta get some power here. Anyway, so next we have our other pulsing PBOE deal, and this is a attack speed and a casting speed debuff. So it's like if you know what Zoran Mana is, it essentially is that, but pulses and PBOEs. So I'm gonna get a little more power here, and then I'm gonna throw it on. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So my shaman's on debuff resisted. You can see how fast I'm casting, and now you can see how slow I'm casting once that debuff hit. So if you're on a mocked target, put this on for sure. Once I'm in a fight, my power levels are pretty good because I'm constantly throwing that buff that gives me power, and I'm taking a bit of damage sometimes. So I constantly have this up, and you can also, let me get some more power. You can put that up with the snare pulse. They share the same reuse timer, but once they're up in like 8 seconds or so, you can put the other one up if you kept the other one on. So you have both of them pulsing. Like I said, it takes some power, but like if my shaman's getting hit and he has that buff, I'm at full power, so it's fine. So that's Magnetism in a gist. Those are all the mag spells. Now the aura spells, you don't really get much out of this. The only thing I really use is this level 12 ABS buff. It's better than the baseline one. It's 18 ABS. It's not bad. I think you get a higher one if you spec more into it, which is what I might do if I'm soloing or duoing. I probably wouldn't go to spec for solo, but it's not really the point of this video or the spec. I might, once I figure out solo maulers, do a video, and you get like a base con buff baseline. You can use this instead of, here I'll show you. Let's see, cast this. I have my own base con. I'll go to my shaman and try to base con shear myself. It's not going to work because the target's connection to the enhancement is too strong for you to move. It's a self buff. You can't shear self buffs. So use that. It caps, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it caps. So use that. Other than that, we have a little bit of power strikes. The only thing I really use is end drain. Just, it's a 500 range interrupt that gives me 35 endurance. If I need endurance, I'll throw it out. May as well. It costs a little power, not much. Other than that, I go, it's all about ML specs, I guess, at this point. Battle Master for this spec, I think, is good. You can go Warlord if you want the pet scare, the War Guard and stuff, but I like the option to BG, and I like Throw Weapon. One thing about Throw Weapon that I think a lot of people know, but it might not be common knowledge, is if you throw a weapon against a dude that has a Brittle Guard, or has a blade turn, especially if they have pulsing blade turn, so it's pretty much always up. If you throw a weapon at them and it gets absorbed by a barrier, or it kills the target, like the Brittle Guard, it'll kill the Brittle Guard, it doesn't give you the fumbling thing. So you can throw a weapon multiple times, or you can throw a weapon and not have the fumble. Really strong. So that's why I like Battle Master, but Warlord's fine too. There's a lot of benefits from Warlord. It's not like you're a peel class on this Mauler. You're mainly there for damage and utility. The reason Maulers aren't great for peels, even though they have all these roots and stuff, is they have no anytime stun. So if you have to peel like a champion that has a shield, or a hero, or a reaver, or a paladin, all they have to do is slam you and snare you. You have to get a side style, or you have to run through back snare. It's a lot more difficult to peel. And I just LD'd. Anyway, sorry, I'll keep talking mainly about templates while this loads back in. Sorry, I've had internet problems lately. I just LD a lot. It's happened before in these videos, but whatever. Templates for group, because this is mainly a group spec. I would definitely have the Astral Cloak of Heroes or the Loyal Cloak, because I think the Loyalty Cloak from Maulers has the 40 magic resist deal. Also get a ring, bracer, or belt, or whatever that has the 10% secondary magic resist buff, like the dragon bracers, or the dragon rings, or the vigilante belts. Some of them have the magic charge. You want that on an offensive tank, just because you'll get nuked down a lot, and you want as much mitigation as you can. Maybe the melee charge too, if you can fit it, for those tank groups that you're fighting, because Maulers are kind of squishy. You can die on a Mauler. You don't have a ton of ABS and a lot of self-defense. All you have is that little damage shield reduction thing that you can throw on everyone. So be careful there. Other items in your template, that's really it. I like those Cursed Blood gloves, gauntlets, or whatever, that have the 25% heal. On Maulers, it might heal you for like 800 damage. It's instant usable in combat, 15-minute reuse, really good. It's like a free IP1. If you can, and has a lot of con over cap. So if you want a high con template, get one of those, man, and go to town. It's worth it, in my opinion. Easy to fit, probably. Other template things, you gotta get resist pierce in your template. You gotta get spell damage in your template. You gotta get your melee stats, obviously, in your template. You want good melee TOAs, obviously, melee combat speed. All your procs are based on strength. So the more strength you have, the harder you hit with your weapons, and the harder you hit with your procs. And we're back in game here. I'm on my wrong account. Let's anyway. So yeah, strength is good. So fit as much strength as you can. TOA is really important, obviously, like I said. Resist hits and stuff like that. You are kind of squishy, so you need all the help you can get. Other than that, that's about it on template. Let me give you some RA stuff. Since this is a group template, or group spec mostly, I'll just go over definite group RAs. Det 9, 100% necessary. Any tank that gets that should get that. You have Stoicism on this, so that plus Stoicism makes you a single target mez will mez you out for like, I don't know, 8 seconds or so. Root's the same. You're walking through stuff pretty much. I really like AOM on any offensive tank. If you're fighting a lot of caster groups, if you're not fighting a lot of caster groups, maybe don't worry about it. But I seem to fight caster groups a bit, so as much AOM I can get, I like. I'd probably stop at AOM 7. After that, maybe a little mastery focus, since your 2 big roots are on reuse timers, and if they resist, you're kind of screwed. So I get a little bit of mastery focus. You don't need much. I don't know why I have 3. That's probably way too much, considering these are relatively high level spells. And then if you want damage, Mastery Majory will increase your proc damage. So you can get some Mastery Majory. That's cool. I like Mastery Pain. I don't know if you saw, but my melee hits were actually hitting pretty dang hard. I'll go back and hit this dude a little bit. Let me put my mana resist. But you can see, man, like I'm hitting for 200. Let's see, 200 main hand, 120 offhand. I'm hitting pretty hard with my weapons. The proc that's where you get the big spike, but you're always hitting with your weapons. You might hit an Owl Strike, but not land a Phoenix Strike because of PBT or something. And then that Master Majory is kind of wasted because you're not actually landing the proc. I like Master Pain because on every single time I hit something, that Master Pain can be effective. Whereas the Majory only is effective if I land the anytime chain. So I might get a little bit of both if I were you. If you can afford it, get a little bit of Master Pain, maybe a little Master Majory. Wild Power is not really going to do much for you because procs can't crit. Other than that, you can get Twiff. So if you want Twiff, I wouldn't go high Twiff probably. Maybe if you're super high rank, you can get some high Twiff. Which a cool combo is you can Unbreakable Root someone inside the Twiff. If they don't have Perch, I mean, what do? They just sit in a Twiff and they can't move. It's pretty funny. You could do that. It's kind of cheeky. Get some if you want. You can get Perch too, just for slams or melee peels, melee stuns, because those still will have full value on you. So you might want to invest a little bit into Perch. Doesn't really matter. Aug Strength for damage if you want, but I think Pain and Majory will probably suit you better, especially if you're something like a Troll that already has a ton of Strength. Strength has diminishing returns after 400. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the hard cap's 450, but I'm not entirely sure. This is an old template, and I'm already at 426. I have a lot more Strength to go that I can get. But other than that, Ori-wise, it's probably pretty much it. I don't know if I really go for much else. Let's see. I'm going to show you some damage. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Let me swap to... Oh yeah, let's talk about weapons too. Okay. So I like to use Pixelator weapons if I want to use physical weapons. So I'll use a Pixelator. Usually, I'll go ahead and tell you. What I normally run around with is a Pixelator main hand and a Matter Legendary offhand. And I'll tell you the reasoning. In groups, most people run high level Matter resist. Like they'll have 50%, 44%, whatever. So if you're running a Matter Legi main hand and you don't get a debuff, you're kind of gimping your damage. But if you're running a physical weapon like a Pixelator, which is crush damage, they're not running 50% melee resist. So you're hitting pretty hard. And you can debuff their crush resist or debuff their ABS, which is strong. And I always like to run the Matter Legi offhand because you're not hitting quite as hard as your offhand, but it still gives you that chance to proc. And if that debuff procs, then you're really in business. Then once that debuff procs, that Matter debuff in my offhand, I'll swap right over to my Matter main hand. If you see here, I got the Matter Legi on my back, and then normally it's Pixelator. I have the hollowed weapon just for some reason. The Pixelator in the main, and then the Matter in the offhand, and the Matter on the back. So once my offhand procs, I'll swap to my back weapon, which is also a Matter, because they're already debuffed. And then I'm really swinging, because my proc's hitting hard, my weapons are both hitting hard, and it's pretty nasty. Or if I do my little debuff thing on someone, I might swap to my Matter Legi, just because they're already debuffed a little bit. And I may as well, if I can get a big proc, because the Matter Legi proc is quite a bit higher than the proc I can apply anytime. So I'll do that. So that's my weapon choices. You might run Mauler Legis all the time. That's fine. If you're small manning, I probably would if they're not running high Mauler resist. I remember I duoed a Bard Mauler, little duo. I played the Mauler, this one hip obviously because Bard Mauler, but I did that to like rank almost 10, and I pretty much always ran double Mauler Legi, and I'd run around like 4 Shining Stealthers because they just, at that point in time at least, they didn't have like the insane resist they might have now. But like I said, a lot of people will have less resist solo if they don't have like the Shaman buff or the Friar buff or the Druid buff. But in groups, I like to run a physical weapon in my main hand, a Mauler offhand. And I want to show you how much it hits for with a debuff. See if I can get lucky and get some debuffs going here. Let me, I'm gonna have to let it proc and then heal myself up because it will hit super hard. Let me heal my Shaman a little bit. Sorry, the reps are crazy. No, I'm not using Mauler main hand. All right, there we go. All right, so this debuff's gonna last. Okay, it's gonna last a little bit. Let me heal. Okay. So big hit there. I missed my offhand. Okay, I would resist the one time I freaking land the. All right, we got a quick debuff again. Okay. Okay, so let's just look at that. That's against someone that has 44% Mauler debuff normally. So we land the Owl Strike. This is off the Mauler, like the Mauler Legi debuff. 318 main hand off my anytime. 174 offhand. Okay, so that's an anytime style after the debuff that hit for, what is that, 500? Hit for 500, roughly. Pretty insane, okay? And then the follow-up style, which didn't dual wield, mind you. It had a chance to dual wield. But the main hand hit for 336 and the proc hit for 478. This is a guy that had 47 or 44% Mauler resist. That's a lot of damage. That's 1200 damage roughly. Well, more than that, because that hit for roughly, that second hit for about 800. The first one hit for 500. So that's a 1300 hit in 2 swings. If I get the Mauler debuff against someone with 44% Mauler resist, it's insane damage. So yeah, that's what you want to do. I think that's, I mean, the combos or whatever. I mentioned the this little shield that reduces the damage greatly. What I like to do is, like if I'm playing with a Zerker, I used to play this with a Zerker. It was a Mauler Zerker and then a 3 caster group. So we were the only front line with the healer. So I would put this buff on the Zerker on Ink, and he would kind of go in a little bit and take a little bit of damage, but it would work on him. And he has charge and stuff, so he can get in a lot easier. And I would come in after. And since there's a 15-second reuse, by the time I was going in, I could cast it on myself. So then at that point, the 2 frontline tanks would have that. And then I would put it back on the Zerker if I needed to, or if the healer started taking damage, or the Shaman started taking damage, I'd throw it on him. Anyone that looked like they're about to take damage got the buff. Or if someone got like debuffed by a cab, that dude had the buff. Or if like our SM, if I was in range, had like a Merc and a Pally, or a Vamp and a hero or BM or something on him, and he was taking damage, I'd throw it on him. I think it's a pretty long range spell. Yeah, it's 2k range, so you can throw this across the fight. 28% damage reduction. Use it on whoever's taking damage. Super strong. That's about the only combo I can think of. That and like some fun with the Unbreakable Root, and then the weapon combos and stuff. But yeah, I'm just curious to make sure my weapon skill buff was on there. I think it was, but I want to do that little combo again, where I hit this dude with the Mauler Legi debuff. Sorry, I know this video is getting a little long at this point, but at this point it's pretty much over. If you want to tune out, you can. I just want to hit again. I like seeing the big damage numbers. I gotta heal, unfortunately. Okay, there's the debuff. Let's heal up. Okay, let's miss. Yeah, that was, yeah, so that's another, I dual-wielded there. 318, 232 offhand. So just my weapons hit for roughly 550-ish. Yeah, 550 exactly. And then my proc hit for 493, or sorry, 431, sorry. Jeez, that's an insane amount of damage. That's almost 1k in one hit off of 44% chain wear. 44% matters is chain wear. And then the anytime chain before that hit for roughly 500, a little over 500. So that's 1,500 damage thereabout and 2 swings off that debuff. That's an insane amount of damage. That's why Mauler's just so scary. And then they have all that utility with the roots and then the little shield thing. Completely ludicrous. Anyway, that's going to about wrap it up for the Mauler video. I think I got pretty much most of the stuff I wanted to on that spec. If you have any questions about Maulers, especially this spec, let me know. Put them in the comments. I'll answer them. If you have any suggestions, tips, or things I missed, let me know too. If you have any, like I said, tips about this video series, things I could do better, things I shouldn't do. Should I ramble less? Should I go less in depth? Or is this good? You know, you have the choice to sit here and watch me or kind of skim through it. I could do bullet point videos, I guess, and make them in like the 10-minute range, but I think this one's going to be like 30, 40 minutes. It's probably going to be 40 minutes, I think, by now. Sorry, but it's kind of how it is. But let me know what you think I should do. And yeah, thanks for watching. That was the Mauler class on Dark Age Camelot, at least on mid. All the Maulers are the same, so they're all going to be like that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.